Sup everyone, I'm Rich Mascarian and today we're going to be talking about how you can structure your practice sessions. Now if you're not familiar with my band Mascarian, that's okay, here's just a tiny little nice chill sample for you. Now where you see me now is where I do most of my practice, because next to the computer I have my iTunes library and I have access to YouTube. Or I'm here with the amp. But that's not important right now, so we're just going to move on. I hope that's okay with you. Oh, okay. No, that's okay. I'll get you. Okay. Oh, look at that booger. Holy shit, I didn't know that was up there. So the first thing that I do when I practice is I ask myself the question, am I really in the mood to practice? If the answer is yes, I continue on with the practice session, but if no, then the rule is I do one thing, one song, and that's from my catalogue, and that's it. Usually it'll take me about 5 minutes to do a song, and then I just put the bass back on the rack, and then that's it. I don't touch it again. Because if I'm not in the mood to practice, I'm just going to be mucking around. Number 2, mucking around. When I mean mucking around, I don't mean do fuck all. I mean get those fingers moving or get those hands moving. This usually takes about 10 or 12 minutes in my session. Basically, you choose songs that you'd like to play in general. And this can cover all genres, all walks of music, basically. So, for me, these are usually songs like Tom Sawyer by Rush, Around the World by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Heart of the Sunrise by Yes, Blackened, Fade into Sanity, or anything off the Justice album by Metallica, and Africa by Toto. I bless the rains down in Africa. I like it. The point of it is to get you a step further in a practice session, get you a little bit inspired to play. So do songs you like. Now, I used to do this stage at the end of the practice session, but there were a couple of problems. I'm a tad impatient when it comes to playing songs that I really like to play. And the second is I'm not really warmed up, because usually I would go to the next step beforehand, and my fingers aren't really warmed up for that part. So really, this is a great time for you to be warming up before you get to the next step of this practice session. So the next step is your cover song. This usually takes about 10 minutes. Now, in every band, they usually have a cover song or two up their belt. Now, with this cover song, it usually fits with the band because it comes close to what they are musically speaking. So for me, I'm in a death metal band, so that means we cover usually songs by Death, Death, and I think our next cover song might be More Death. So take this time to warm up to your catalogue, which will be the next step, with your cover song. Because usually that cover song will have the rudiments for you to be warmed up before you can hit your own catalogue. Now you may need a little more extra time because sometimes you have a new cover song to learn. And if you're struggling with this cover song, a little tip that I usually do is that I go on YouTube and usually some fucking legend has isolated the bass tracks or isolated other instruments on that track, and you just play along with it. If you're looking elsewhere though, you may also find another fucking legend who's done a cover, so you can see how they do it. Or if they've done tutorials on this song, you can check out that fucking legend. So the next step is your catalogue. Now this will usually take about 15 minutes or so. 15 minutes is usually the minimum. So this is the time where you practice your own songs, okay? Usually I do about 2 or 3 of our own songs. It just depends on what tuning I'm in that day. Now with tuning, I usually change it up every day because I have 3 tunings in my band. So the 3 tunings are D standard, drop C, and C standard. And each day I change it up just to keep things fresh. So I usually do about 3 or maybe even 2 songs if I'm not feeling it that day in that tuning, and then the next day I'll do a couple songs in that tuning, and then the next, and so on and so forth. So also take this time to learn new songs that the band has brought forward and has approved of. Take your time with learning your own band's catalogue, because you need to get it perfect. If your band members have given you footage of how the riff is played, and if they've slowed it down, then first of all, they're fucking legends, and second of all, take your time learning this song. So usually the last step of my practice session usually revolves around new ideas that I have, and this I give myself unlimited time. So if you have new ideas in your own brain, it would be perfect to end off your practice sessions just giving yourself time to work on ideas that you have. I usually find that working on new material from my end at this point gives me a lot of time and a little bit more freedom to think about if something works or not. Those are pretty much the 5 steps I do on any average day of practice, but some days I usually go against the grain, because just practicing here, it can get a bit boring sometimes. So you got to change it up. I mean, I change basses every day, I change tunings every day, but maybe I need to change a setting. So that's where I go to my amp, and I usually dedicate a day where it's just me and my gear, and I get to play around with it. You know, I get to check, you know, volume, EQ, pedals, you know, general maintenance, and just to see, you know, how you're sounding, as opposed to just getting to a band session and then only fixing problems there and then, because that's just going to waste everyone else's time, especially yours. Sometimes you just ignore all that stuff and you just pat. You know, you got to make it purr. You know, it's been good to you, and you know, you got to be good to it. So, you know. Thanks for watching. Hope this was pretty helpful. If not, tell me to fuck off in the comments. Or if it was helpful, don't tell me to fuck off in the comments. Bass on.
Hurry boy, she's waiting there for you.